Hello, and welcome to this video where we'll learn how to set up a TiDB cluster using the TiUP tool. TiDB is an advanced distributed MySQL-compatible SQL database that can handle large-scale applications. We're going to demonstrate this setup using Google Cloud virtual machines, but the same concepts and steps can be adapted to other cloud providers or even bare metal environments. Let's start by understanding what we're working with. TiUP is essentially a command line Swiss Army knife for TiDB clusters. Think of it as your go-to tool for creating and managing TiDB deployments. While we wait for the Google Cloud Compute Engine API to boot up, let's open a Cloud Shell terminal. If you prefer working in your local development environment, that's perfectly fine too, since TiUP works there as well. The TiDB documentation provides us with a convenient one-liner install script for TiUP. As a quick security note, you should always inspect install scripts before running them. I've already done this inspection, so we know it's safe to proceed. After installation, you'll need to open a fresh terminal session or source your bash profile to make the TiUP command available. Once TiUP is installed, you'll notice it comes with plenty of subcommands and examples. The command we'll be focusing on is TiUP cluster, which helps us manage TiDB cluster deployments. Now let's talk about the infrastructure requirements. The TiDB documentation provides specific recommendations for virtual machine specifications. For our Google Cloud setup, we'll place all nodes in the US Central 1C zone with Intel 64-bit CPUs. When choosing an operating system, it's important to select one that offers enterprise-level stability and production quality. Rocky Linux 9 fits this requirement perfectly and is what we'll be using. For storage, a 64GB boot disk will be sufficient for our demonstration. You might need to scroll past some ARM-based images to find the Intel options we need. For this demonstration, we can skip advanced features like backups for now. We'll be using the default VPC for networking, so if you're working in a completely blank project and have deleted the default VPC, you'll need to create one first. We'll co-locate all our virtual machines in the same zone and use ephemeral IP addresses, which will work perfectly for our setup. Since a TiDB cluster requires multiple machines to function properly, we'll need to create several virtual machines. Let's create at least 3 to start with, all in the same region and zone. This will give us the foundation we need for our cluster. We'll designate the first node as our control machine, which we'll use to coordinate the deployment to the other target machines. Let's SSH into this control node to begin the setup process. Before we proceed with the TiDB installation, we need to ensure our networking is properly configured to allow communication between all virtual machines. If we examine the firewall rules, we'll see that the default Allow Internal rule is perfect for our needs. This rule covers all internal IP addresses in the 10.128 range on all ports, which means our nodes can communicate freely within the network. Now let's install the TiUP CLI on our control node. After the installation completes, we need to start a new bash session or source the bash profile to access the TiUP command. Once that's done, we can run TiUP cluster to download and install the cluster management component. If you encounter a transient network error during this process, don't worry. Simply rerun the command and it should complete successfully on the second attempt. The next crucial step is to initialize our cluster topology file. We'll use the command TiUP cluster template and redirect the output to a file called topology.yaml. This file will contain the configuration blueprint for our entire cluster. When we open this topology file, we'll see sample host configurations for each TiDB component. Let me explain the three core components that form the heart of our cluster. The TiKV nodes provide distributed transactional key value storage for the actual data. The TiDB servers handle SQL query processing, essentially acting as the SQL layer that your applications will connect to. And finally, the placement driver, or PD, acts as the cluster manager, storing metadata and balancing data distribution across the TiKV nodes. Now comes the interesting part about editing this configuration file. Most of the header details in the template look solid and don't need changes. We'll use SSH for management communication between nodes, and the directory and architecture specifications are already set up correctly. Remember, we're using Intel architecture, not ARM, and the monitoring variables are ready to go. Here's something important to understand about TiDB deployments. We don't need to run every service on every node or run each service on a dedicated node. Rather, we can mix and match machines and run multiple TiDB components of our choosing on the hosts of our choosing. For example, we can have a PD server running alongside a TiDB server on the same machine. The key is to manage your resources carefully and ensure you don't exhaust memory, CPU, or disk capacity. For our demonstration, we'll choose to run both PD and TiDB components on all three of our initial machines. This gives us good redundancy and distribution. To showcase that we don't need every service on every node, we'll create 2 additional instances specifically for TiKV storage nodes. It's worth noting that these additional instances might end up in different zones since we didn't explicitly specify the zone during creation. This is actually fine because TiDB is designed to handle distributed deployments and can even span multiple data centers if needed. We'll grab the internal IP addresses of our machines and plug them into the appropriate sections of the topology file. For the TiKV section, we'll use our 2 additional instances. We can delete any extra entries we don't need and place the auxiliary services on our control machine. Once we have our hosts properly specified in the topology file, we need to address authentication. While we've configured firewall rules to allow network communication, we still need SSH keys to actually connect to and manage these machines. We already have some SSH keys from using the in-browser SSH feature, but let's generate a dedicated key pair for this deployment. We'll use the SSH keygen command and include an email address for identification. For simplicity in this demonstration, we'll leave the passphrase blank, though in production, you'd want to use a strong passphrase. This creates both public and private keys in the .ssh directory. Now comes the important step of distributing our public key to every virtual machine in our cluster. We need to copy the public key to all 5 machines so they'll trust our control node. While there are more automated ways to do this, we'll do it manually to keep the process clear and understandable. After adding the public key to each machine, we can test our SSH connectivity. For example, we can SSH into the 3rd machine and observe the command prompt changes, showing we've successfully connected using our new key pair. This SSH connectivity is crucial for the smooth provisioning process that follows. Before proceeding with the actual deployment, it's always good practice to run a sanity check. We'll use the TiUP cluster check command, specify our topology file, and provide our SSH private key. If the tool complains about using the root user, We can switch to our demo user instead. The check command will output a comprehensive list of system tuning recommendations, mostly kernel parameters that should be optimized across all machines. While these warnings are important for production deployments, we can proceed with our demonstration even if not all checks pass perfectly. Now, let's attempt our first deployment to see what happens. We'll run a dry deployment using the TiUP cluster deploy command, specifying our cluster name, TiDB version, topology file, and SSH private key. The output should show us our planned deployment: 3 PD servers, 3 TiDB servers, and 2 standalone TiKV servers, with all auxiliary services running on our control machine. This configuration looks solid and ready to deploy. However, our first deployment attempt won't be completely successful, and that's perfectly normal. Don't worry about this plot twist. It's actually a great learning opportunity to understand the prerequisites and common issues you might encounter. If we examine the detailed log output, we'll likely see errors related to SELinux, which is a security system that's enabled by default on Rocky Linux. SELinux can restrict privileged processes, which is exactly what's happening in our case. The solution is to disable SELinux on each machine in our cluster. Let's fix this issue step by step. We'll SSH into each machine and disable SELinux. First, let's demonstrate this locally on our control machine. We can check the current SELinux status and see that it's set to enforcing mode. We need to change this to disabled mode. The process involves editing the SELinux configuration file and setting it to disabled mode, then repeating this process on every virtual machine in our cluster. This is a quick operation since our machines have sequential IP addresses, making the SSH connections very straightforward. After disabling SELinux on all machines, let's rerun our check command. We'll still see various errors and warnings, but the SELinux issues should be resolved. However, we might now encounter already exists errors, which indicate that our previous failed deployment attempt left some remnants behind. To clean up from the failed deployment, we may need to use the TiUP cluster destroy command. This will remove any partial installation artifacts and prepare our environment for a fresh deployment attempt. Now let's run the deployment command again. This time, the installer should march through the process and much more successfully. You might still see some tuning checks that fail, particularly kernel parameter optimizations, but these can be addressed later. The important thing is that our basic deployment completes successfully. After the deployment finishes, we can verify our cluster status using the TiUP cluster list command. This will show us all the clusters we're managing, in our case, just one. For more detailed information, we can use the TiUP cluster display command, which reveals every service IP address and configuration detail. Now comes the moment of truth. Can we actually start our cluster, or will we encounter more issues? Let's run the cluster start command and see what happens. If everything goes well, the system will generate a root password for our TiDB instance. This password is extremely important, so make sure to copy it and store it securely. You definitely don't want to lose this password. After starting the cluster, run the TiUP cluster display command again. Hopefully we'll see everything showing as up and running properly. All services should appear with a green status indicating a healthy, functioning cluster. One of the most exciting features we get with our deployment is access to a dashboard URL. However, there's an important detail to note. This dashboard is currently only accessible via a private IP address. To access it from outside our Google Cloud environment, we need to expose the appropriate port through our firewall rules. Let's head to the Google Cloud Firewall configuration and create a new rule. We'll create a rule that allows TCP traffic on port 2379 from any source IP address. Keep in mind that this approach assumes your project is otherwise empty. In a production environment, you'd want to implement much tighter security controls and restrict access appropriately. This will let us access the external IP of our control machine, which hosts the dashboard interface. Once the firewall rule is in place, we can access our TiDB dashboard. We need to grab the external IP address of the machine that hosts the UI component. In our case, that's our control machine. We'll append port 2379 and add dashboard to the URL to access the interface. When we navigate to this URL, we should see the TiDB cluster dashboard. Remember that we haven't set up TLS encryption yet, so keep security considerations in mind for production deployments. The dashboard will prompt us for authentication, and we'll use the root password that was generated during the cluster startup process. Once logged in, we'll have access to a comprehensive cluster management interface, showing all sorts of valuable information about our TiDB database. We can monitor cluster health, view performance metrics, manage configurations, and much more. For applications and MySQL clients that need to connect to our TiDB cluster, the key port to remember is 4000. This is where the TiDB SQL services listen for connections. We actually have multiple endpoints available since we deployed TiDB services on multiple nodes, but the cluster will work cohesively to balance traffic and provide high availability. Any MySQL-compatible client or application can connect to any of our TiDB nodes on port 4000, and the cluster will handle load balancing and ensure consistent data access across all nodes. This gives us both performance and reliability benefits. If you'd like to support the channel, consider starting a free trial of our new design tool, which is linked in the description, and let us know what you think. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section, and we'll do our best to respond. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and please enjoy responsibly.